Hello and welcome back to the Analyst Desk. Joining me this time for this next matchup, I have Walshy and Wonderboy. Guys, this is a pleasure to have you on the desk.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Great to be back.
Well,
I've been at both desks already, so I got to decide which one.
You're making up for arriving a whole day later than everybody else. That's
Can
what
I
it
just
is.
say, he literally turned up to the desk about 30 seconds before we were supposed to come on air
Yeah.
as well. I'm just
What
saying.
did this go
Casually.
into? Hey, let's not turn on me. Let's all direct our anger towards
Golden
Golden Boy, yeah, that's a good point. We'll start with Golden Boy
It's
more.
all Golden Boy's fault.
Instead of doing a pregame show on this next match, let's talk about the 5 things that we most dislike about Golden Boy.
It's so short and it's... okay. All right.
He's just dived straight in. He hasn't even ready for the next one. He just dived.
That's cool. Okay, cool.
Okay, back on topic, let's take a little look at the groups so far in this tournament and kind of how it's all gone down, because we're starting to get into the main kind of group of it now. This is Group B. We're going to see the next game from here. It's Rift versus OneGaming.
Yeah, we've already seen Dignitas take down Post and Halo. It's pretty, business as usual for Dignitas. I think this is going to be a bit more of a closer affair here, Rift against OneGaming. I think Rift really should come out with the win, but OneGaming, they could surprise everyone here.
Okay, so we're kind of leaning one way then again. I mean, is this going to be quite one-sided, or, I mean, like last game, are we going to be potentially seeing a game number 3?
We could potentially see a game number 3, yeah, like you said. I think the problem is that no one really knows that much about OneGaming. So they're a bit of a surprise package coming in. Obviously they've qualified, so they are good enough to be here. But on the Rift side, there are established players, and they have some good talent on that lineup, and they shouldn't really lose.
So for you, it's more a case of the known quantity.
Yeah.
You know a lot more about Rift. You kind of put your knowledge where your mouth is, right? And you're sitting there going, I know how Rift play. OneGaming, they are ranked lower. And I don't really know these guys that much. Is that something we kind of expect to see? Could it be the unknown? It could be the dark horse.
I like that safe pick and understand completely, because it's one of those things that every single season, without fail, there's some team that breaks through or some players that break through. I don't think I've ever gone through a single season of my Halo career, from starting in like 2003 till now, that a team or player hasn't broken through and made new waves each season. So at some point it's like, all right, which team is it going to be, or which player is it going to be? Yeah. And could it be OneGaming? It
could be OneGaming. I think we've seen them once or twice within the qualification campaign, and they've lost both times. So like I said, the known quantity I think is got to be Rift for me on this one. But I think it could be a close series. We could see some surprises coming out of OneGaming.
Okay, known quantity then. Talk to me about Rift.
Right, so we got Ads and Sneaky Walrus. They're a Scottish duo. They've been playing for a little while now, and they have some real natural talent on that duo. And they also have Harper backing them up as well, an old Halo 2 player, really come into his own on Halo 5. He's really stepped up his game. He's got a really dominant shot. And then rounding out that lineup is Vex Zeus, who again is kind of come into his own in Halo 5 and started becoming a really solid player as well to round out that lineup.
Okay, so something we actually haven't spoke about in the Analyst Desk this weekend while we've gone through the kind of the one-sided matches is just how much pressure and how much it kind of changes walking into an arena like this and going into the booth, and how much that kind of weighs mentally on these players. Walshy, what do you think about that kind of mental aspect of the game?
Yeah, you're going to get some players that it affects drastically. They're going to realize the crowd's watching, they realize they're on stream, and they're going to play completely different. Other players, I feel like, step up to that challenge. They enjoy having the spotlight on them while they're playing. This is the reason that they've practiced so many hours of Halo and played in so many online qualifiers to get to this moment where they're playing in front of the big crowd on stream and going for the Halo World Championship seed.
Yeah, I think players like Chalky on Infuse, they love the limelight. They really, really step up. When there's other players who maybe are not as experienced within that limelight situation who might shy away. We don't know yet. So I think that's a really good point that you raised.
Just talk about your experience. I mean, because listen, you are one of the true veterans of
here we go.
Halo.
How much time we got here? I mean, the game's going to start soon.
For you personally, when you used to come into these big games and stuff, how did you used to kind of mentally prepare yourself, or just physically prepare yourself?
I mean, I always tried to practice the same way that I was going to play, and it's what I look forward to. I think that's why everyone's here. Yes, there's going to be some players that play better under pressure or worse under pressure, but the whole point being is they wouldn't be here at this event unless they wanted to make it to the Halo World Championship Finals, unless they wanted to actually have the spotlight on them in some way, shape, or form. So I think every player here, deep down inside, is excited about it. They just need to, I guess, learn how they personally react to pressure or what they need to do to get in that mindset. for me, I just had to go warm up and just go play. Like I
Just
felt like
casual. It got easier, I imagine, as the years
I had
went
to
on.
warm up a lot. I would lose a lot of my first BRB. I was like, all right, I need to keep practicing, keep warming up. Doesn't count yet. So it just seemed to me just playing the game and focus on that.
Okay, fair enough. I kind of asked on set a similar question earlier, but I want to ask you about you're kind of backing Rift here. Now, how do Rift stack up to what we're calling the Big Four at this event?
Yeah, so we kind of have the Big Four as that tier 1 kind of team. You could maybe class XL as like a tier 2 because they're kind of on the outside looking into that top 3. They're around the top 6, maybe top 8 kind of range. Wouldn't be surprised to see them up and amongst that kind of area. I think anything above that would be great for them. But yeah, I'd say around the top 6. Top 6 is where I'd rank
Top 6?
Rift, yeah.
Okay, so solid top 6. You don't think there's any chance of them maybe causing a little bit of an upset later in the tournament?
Well, that's the thing. All the players on this Rift lineup, I mean, they have great shots. They all know how to shoot BRs, pistols, assault rifles. They know how to.
I think that's a good foundation for any team.
That's a great start. So if you know how to aim, it's a good start. It's about whether or not they can make things happen as a team, and in the later rounds, that's going to be the telling factor. I think when they go up against the likes of the Epsilons, the Infuse, that big 3 that we spoke about, or even XL. I think they could certainly challenge XL and maybe push them off of that 4th spot, but I can't see them breaking into the top 3.
Okay, that's fair enough. Right, let's get a quick scoreline prediction from the both of you. Let's start with you, Wonderboy.
I'm going 2-0 Rift. I was going to go 2-1, but I think Rift just has a bit more about them than OneGaming.
I'm going to trust Wonderboy's advice.
Don't do that. That's a bad idea.
Trusting it well. Another kind of 2-0
Hey,
sweep.
it's okay. You're new here in the country. That's fine. But you'll slowly learn. Never trust an Englishman. Okay.
You speak for yourself.
Well.
Okay. Well, let's get into this next game then and hand it over to our awesome casters. It's Tun and Onset. Take it away.
Thank you very much once again, Brycey, and yes, myself, Tun and Onset taking this one away. And it's going to be a good game. We've seen a lot of teams coming into this where it's been one-sided and everyone sort of decided what's going on. This one's not as clear-cut.
Yeah, we're starting to get into sort of the mix of the sort of the middle seed.
Yeah.
So you've got the teams that have sort of got some good players, but they might not be sort of teamed together for a long time. So there's sort of that chemistry problems going on between them, but it makes for exciting Halo to watch. So, but the Rift side that we're going to watch today, they've got some players. They've been a squad for a little while. Some solid Scottish players on that squad as well. So, from my point of view, I think they could be the stronger team in this one.
Okay, so on the back of that, I'm going to throw you into predictions.
I'm going to go 2-0 to Rift.
Okay.
And I've been pretty much spot on so far.
Right,
Amazingly.
Well, yeah, I mean, keep going with that because I'm
doing my best.
What is this Onset curse?
Have you done? Yeah. Well, essentially, any team that I've predicted to win, regardless, they have lost. They have crashed out in the semi-finals or the final. So today, I am 100%. I think so. If I can keep that up, I'll be so happy because the curse will be lifted.
Well, we're going to go and see what maps these teams are going to be going up against each other, and of course, it is going to be the same 3 that we have played all morning. Moving into that now, that is actually going to be, as you can see, the Rig Strongholds. Such a fan, by the way. Team Slayer Coliseum, and will we see truth?
I want to see truth so badly.
I want to as well at the same time, man. I want to see what these teams can offer on this map. But the first 2 is all we've seen. You're predicting we're going to see that as well. I'm not sure, man. OneGaming could turn up here, but I noticed you pointed out some of Rift was Scottish. Is that a positive?
You tell me. I mean, I didn't bring that up. I mean, I love my Scottish players, and it's a hell of a travel down here to London. So big props to them. So
it is a trek. But anyway, yes, Strongholds on the Rig. We've seen this map played a good few times already this morning. I really enjoy it. Obviously, the main thing you want to be hitting for is that nest control.
Yeah, I think if you haven't worked out how to play this map by now, then you're going to struggle because we have been playing this game type pretty much all morning. But yeah, the basement and nest is the most important thing to control because you can manipulate the spawn of the opposition team into that BR base.
Well, let's see. We're going to go with OneGaming, who do have the more beneficial spawn. Let's see what they're going to do with it. They are going to hold the basement and just try and control these corridors. Let's see what they can do in long haul. Just try and hold this down. Somebody has escaped down the left-hand side. And what's Virus going to be able to do? He's got 2 guys up in front of him, not going to be able to get away. And Vexus, Zeus, we're going to call him, does pick up the first kill.
Yeah, good luck with that game attack. I still haven't quite nailed it myself, but yeah, it just seems like this early exchange here is just the struggle for control. It seems both teams have control of one of these strongholds, but the basement looks like it's going to go into the hands of Rift eventually. And they are going to have 2 of the bases now to work from, and they're going to start racking up this time as Virus is just working around the base. He's going to try and push towards the top of this engine area, and he's going to push with his team, who are all together here, looking across the hall, putting down some shots. I'm not sure if he is aware there might be a camo guy around, because he was putting some shots onto some interesting places there. But he's eventually going to be shut down by Walrus, and it looks like a strong start for them.
Well, it's a really, really good start by Rift there. They got control, and you could see that on OneGaming were mounting up. As you said, they were trying to make that position where they could go on and do something. But, you know, Rift really got aggressive on them and shut down any sort of push they could bring in there. Rift getting very aggressive. Actually, they're really pushing them back into BR base, which is exactly what you want to do. Sneaky Walrus, that is a fantastic game attack. On board with him, does have SMG and pistol in hand, so he can do some damage from this position. Let's see what's going to happen here. And Dark Messiah does pick up a perfect with the BR. Good shots with the SMG, but that's all that's going to be. Not going to be able to get any real damage on the player, but he's just trying to hold things down. You can see Dark Messiah trying to crouch around, trying to surprise one of his teammates, but he'll have called that out, and he is holding down very, very well here.
Yeah, they're doing a great job here. I think something that Walshy mentioned earlier is they are trapping them in the base, but they are putting pressure on their spawn in this BR base. They're not just letting them spawn and then push them and playing a passive style. We saw Walrus there was putting SMG shots on the players on spawn, not letting them even get an inch through that engine area. And if you can continue to do that and keep them on respawn there, they're just going to rack up this time, as it is now 28-0, and it is such a strong start from this Rift Gaming side.
Yeah, it's looking really, really good from there. But obviously, when you put that pressure on, you can push too far.
Okay. Yeah, it's a balance. It's a balance. You want to make sure that they're getting trapped in that spawn. Now, as we see, Walrus, perfect job there. Pushed in and cleaned that kill, but then backed out so that he doesn't influence that spawn too much. As I think he's aware the camo's coming up, shoots that down. Great play from Walrus here. That's going to be camo control as well as stronghold control here, and he'll be the player to stay on board with here, to look to pick up some important kills and just keep the control, because they're doing a great job at the moment.
Wow, OneGaming are looking in a lot of trouble here. Let's see if we can go on board with one of them if we can. See what they're going to do to try and get out of this sticky situation that they are in. Dark Messiah had picked up a couple of kills. SMG is all over him, though they're not going to clean up onto Vexus, but actually for OneGaming, it's really not looking great. Just seeing, if you look at the scoreboard, the kill feed down the bottom left, it's just kill after kill after kill for Rift. It does seem as if OneGaming have managed to pick up a couple of kills. They're going to try a different route here. They're going to try and get hold of basement, because really Nest is not working whatsoever for them.
Yeah, and it just seems like they're just sort of pushing in one by one at the moment. And against this Rift side have some experience as a team. That Harp has rejoined the team, previously sort of left the team, but has come back and is experienced with this team. So they're going to, if you push in one by one against a Rift side like this, that they're going to shut you down. You need to push as a team. You need to make sure that you're establishing some map control before you try and take some of these strongholds. And it's just looking a bit too easy for Rift at the moment.
Yeah, you know, it just seems as if, like, the trend of mistakes seems to be the same with all teams that tend to be behind on this map. It's one by one pushing. It doesn't seem, well, today what we've seen so far, like, so they don't seem to have a plan. And you can see the better teams have the better coordination together, and it's such a massive thing, and it makes a massive, massive difference. As the scoreline is 61-0 now to Rift, and they are looking very, very strong. Kills all over the place for them as well. They're just holding down every single area they need to. The rotations between the teammates are good to get to the different holding positions they need to be in. Wearable adds. Let's see what he can do here.
Yeah, and I want to go back to a point, the really good point that you made there. But Strongholds is such a strange game type, because if you find yourself down, you get tempted to push in one by one, because you need to control those objectives. And you think, oh, I'm going to make a play here, I'm going to push in. But the best play is sometimes just to wait, be patient, as we've talked about previously. Wait for your teammates and just push as a team and decide on a stronghold you're going to go for and really commit to that stronghold.
Well, at this moment in time, it just seems as if OneGaming haven't done that at all. I mean,
it looks pretty much solid game over at the moment.
I mean, at first we've seen them at the very beginning, they were behind instantly, and OneGaming was setting up, they were looking to go towards Nest, and as soon as it's set up, the pressure was in from Rift, so maybe we can't necessarily take something away from Rift so much, because maybe they're putting too much pressure onto OneGaming that they haven't got a chance to maybe set up and push through there.
Yeah, and I think there's been, from what we've seen so far, this has been perfect play from Rift. You really can't sort of pull too much apart. As you say, we saw Walrus earlier in the game doing a great job of putting an aggressive pressure on the spawns of OneGaming. And if you're coming off spawn as a team and you're already being shot, and you know that the strongholds that you're trying to capture are the other side of the map, it is so difficult for you to even maneuver across the map, let alone get control of those objectives.
Well, you know, OneGaming have actually managed to get a control of Nest there, so maybe they can get some points on the board. They have now actually lost BR base, and they may just be pushed back in towards Nest. Is that a setup you would want to do at all, or is it a bit of a tough one to hold?
It's much more difficult just because of the lines of sight, and when players are pushing, when you have basement and Nest control, you can pretty much lock down every single line of sight and and angle that their players are going to push from. When you've got the BR base, you're in funny positions. You can easily get naded out of the top of the engine area and around the BR base, and unfortunately you can get trapped in that BR spawn, which is the most important thing to try and avoid on this game type.
Yeah, and it looks as if Rift are actually happy to go along with that. They do have control of 2 of the strongholds. They are getting points on the board. They have now lost BR base. They'll be actually all right with that because that's then going to give them, as you can see on your screens, an opportunity to push the nest. They are now going to get a hold of the nest. They're going to get the points on the board. Rift Gaming looking very good as they are 7 points away from victory.
And Vexus did a great job there. You saw he was bottom of the railgun tower there, but he saw all of the players spawning. He didn't push in too much because he wanted to force spawn the OneGaming team into that BR base. That's exactly what happened, and all you see now is red X's on the side of the OneGaming side, and it's just getting closed out. They've been perfect in this game, Rift. Really, really impressed with their performance there.
Very, very well played by Rift as they are going to take map number 1, 100 to 15. Very convincing from them. I mean, we see the 100 to 0 by, I think it was Infused in the first game I casted today, and that was phenomenal. That was just as impressive because, yes, they had an opposition that was, at times strong. One true flash, only getting Magic to pick up himself 1 kill there. That's
well, at least we didn't see the first goose of the weekend, so that's something we can definitely take away from that. That's, I know it's only a small consolation, but 1 kill is better than none.
Yeah, so I mean, as I was saying, it's like they were going to be an opposition who were trying to do things, but they shut it down at every single moment. That one game, it looked as if they were trying to get back into the game, so well played to Rift. They're going to take away map number 1. We're going to be coming up on map number 2 in just a second. I mean, I want to hear your prediction off the back of that first map. What we're going to see in map number 2, because I think it's much going to be the same. Rift, pressure, getting a hold of the power weapon, see what they can do with them.
Yeah, if they can keep this aggressive playstyle up, I don't think just in this game, I think later in the tournament, it's really going to help them. Because if they come up against a team who gets set up in a slightly passive way, then aggression always wins for me. If you're aggressive as a team, it's fantastic. But it's when you start going in 1 by 1 and being over-aggressive and maybe overextending is where you cause yourself some problems.
Because Halo isn't one of those games where you can make so many like hero players like, you know what, guys, we're 20 points behind. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to take them all out. It doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work.
It literally does not work. So you can't do that in the game. It literally all needs to orientate around your own team and try and do things together. At this moment in time, though, Rift are just doing that a lot better than OneGaming.
Yeah, and I think it's showing the experience on the team. They're experienced players in Halo. They've played Halo for a long time, but they've also been a squad for quite a long time now. So they've got their pushes organized. They know where they want to watch. They know where each other are watching on the map, which is really important. If you're, for example, on that Strongholds game, if you're the player to watch and you're on the Carbine, you're aware that you've only got to watch one area of the map. You're watching that one. That is your sole job, to watch that one area of the map and respond to your teammates' call-outs, because you know where your teammates are watching. So you know you're not going to get flanked. And if they seem to work really well there, so it seems that they've got a really good groove as a team. And if they keep that up, I can potentially see them making some upsets from that game. I was really, really impressed.
Yeah, that was really, really good. And it's something I want to touch on what Walshy said previously in the other game, where teams, if they tend to get passive and they aren't making the decisions, those are the teams that lose. The teams that are making their own decisions and controlling the game are the ones that win. And that's what Rift did. They had the lead, they had that control, but at the same time, they were pushing in there and saying, okay, we're going to push them at spawn, we're going to make the kills. We're not just going to sit back and rest on our laurels. So they did that. They walked away quite comfortably with the game. Will they do that on the Slayer? I'd imagine so. It looks very, very good from them in the first match. He said very, very impressive. And we'll see how they go on in the tournament, but it's looking good for their first win of the day here.
Yeah, I think if they can keep up this aggressive playstyle, as we say, I don't even think this game, the next game they should take pretty comfortably, if they keep that up. But I was so impressed that first game. I can see them potentially challenging some of the higher seeds above them. Yeah. Because that playstyle works. That's the American meta of Halo. That aggression is the thing that people look for. You play an American team, some of the top teams of the world, top 4, top 5 teams, if you're not aggressive, they will push you. And going back to how you were saying, if you're a passive team, you have to think, if you're just sitting there waiting for a team, you have to react.
Yeah,
you have to then make a decision. Yeah. And reacting to someone else making a decision, you're on the back foot automatically. Yeah. So it's so much more difficult to react to a situation than to engage a situation yourself.
I mean, it's also like, it's almost like Walshy actually knows what he's talking about. I mean,
I still like the guy's play.
I mean, would you ever have guessed it?
I gave him my seal of approval earlier, so you know, I mean, how many years of gaming does he need to get that?
The confidence that he would have gotten from that.
10, 15 years he's had to wait for that, so it was worth getting the plane.
Maybe they put that on his CV for his next
I would imagine he will.
But yeah, I mean, as we said, Rift looking really, really good here. Going on this next map, I mean, we can expect typically what we've seen so far is a 2-man push to Rocket. Is that something, I mean, again, I'm reflecting back to what the guys were talking about in the previous game. Obviously, Sniper is probably more beneficial on this map than Rockets are.
It depends where you're pushing. If you have the Sniper, if you have the Sniper when the Rockets are spawning, it's a lot easier to control because you've got the lines of sight across to the Rockets. But if you have Rockets, you can take down the sniper player because you can push him because there's a lot of with the pistol you can take down a sniper player. If he misses a shot, you can 5 him and that's it. But with the rockets, because there's quite when you're up on the snipe area, there's quite a lot of close quarter battles, especially in the bases. And if you get rockets, you can really change the game. I think we saw that in the previous series when Riot got hold of the rockets. All of a sudden, that score that went from 2-kill deficit, and it was 50 to 32.
Just extended, yeah.
It was, and so. They are both as important as each other, but it's how you use them. I mean, it's great to have them, but if you miss with your shots and you give them to the opposition,
I mean, it's all well and good saying, you know, power weapons, so important, get a hold of them, win the game. But then suddenly, like, you get them when you're missing all your shots or you're not using them effectively, then it's really just, it can be a bit of a detriment because maybe you can focus on it a bit too much, if you know what I mean. But going this, it is going to be Coliseum Team Slayer for the 6th or 5th time today, because we are playing the same maps as we go through the bracket. We're going to move in this one. As said, Team Slayer Coliseum is going to be the map. I'm actually going to push you as far as a score.
A score
prediction.
Okay, I'm going to go 50 to... I'm going to call a stake. I'm going to go 50 to 28 on this one.
Right. Okay, well, that's fair. That's fair. A stake. I only got a stake explained to me about 20 minutes ago.
Oh, you're not aware of the stake?
I am not aware of the stake. I've never heard that in my life. Anyway, on board with Dark Messiah as he pushes towards the rockets.
Yeah, he's going to be trying to lock down, and this is a good start here. They're sending a player over to this rocket area to try and lock that down as Walrus picks up the first kill off stream. But he's just sort of waiting to see. One of his teammates needs to try and look across because he knows he's going to get flanked here, and he is taken down. It looks like that early power weapon control is going to go into the hands of Rift.
Yeah, you know, I just looked towards our screen where we've got all the players' screens available so we can switch over to who we want. I had a little look towards Sneaky Walrus, and he did fantastic. He got hold of that SMG and he looked over towards rockets on the opposite side and starts putting pistol shots in there. Picks up the kill. His team can pick up rockets. They move on. 5-3 is the score in a very commanding position. Our Rift now. Let's see what he can do here. He's going to pick up the SMG, which is trying to be a good weapon for him so far.
Wrecks. The SMG wrecks on this game.
Man. I mean, obviously close range is absolutely unbelievable, but it's getting into those positions, especially on a map like this, which is, I mean, it has a lot of close quarters, but at the same time, the lines of sight. I mean, there's so many different positions where you can do stuff with it. I mean, we'll stay with. We'll see what Vexus. It's so hard to say quick. Vexus. It sounds like I'm saying something in French, but anyway, let's see what he does with the sniper rifle. He's going to pick up one there with the body shot onto Dark Messiah, and this is looking like a very, very good start for Rift. Is he going to be able to pick up the no-scope? Not going to quite happen. Does put some shots away, and obviously shield fully gone there. What can he do to stay alive? He has done well so far. Realistically, he doesn't have many of his team around. He wants to try and push around.
Now, if I'm here's a lovely shot there on the play on the flag, but looks for the no scope. But if I'm Vexus here, I'm going to try and transition back to my teammates at the red base. But they are doing a great job of actually pushing up to him because they know that he's doing a great job staying alive. So it's one of those 50-50 plays there. He hits that shot. And he connects. That's great for them. But if he misses that, then Sniper might have gone back into the control of the OneGaming side. But he's just going to be looking across at the red base now because his teammates have pushed over the map. He knows that they're going to be spawning in the back of that base or possibly the rocket corner as his players. He doesn't have to do anything right now.
No.
Rift are doing such a great job of being aggressive. As we previously said, they are just finding those spawns and just charging in on this OneGaming side. And it must be horrible to be on this OneGaming side.
Yeah, you know, we can just see from Vexus's point, we can see the tags of his teammates just raining down on players, and we're just seeing kills come up left, right, and center. I know he's got the sniper, but let's switch it up to somebody else to see.
Let's have a look. Let's look at OneGaming. I mean, they're not having the nicest time. Let's see if they can do something to get out of this predicament they're in. As One True Flash is going to find a player in front of him on the splinter nades, but he's going to miss that beatdown, and he's taken down by Ads. And Ads is a player who we saw earlier in the tournament actually found a goose in a Slayer, so he's now topping the scoreboard, showing that he's come back strong and that he's going to be a player to watch.
Well, let's see what One True Flash can do something about this. He does have the DMR in hand, and you know, they just really need to try and get a hold on these power weapons at some point. The sniper is spawning in 10 seconds or so. If they can get some control around there, they made him a couple of kills. Actually, Stanza did have the rocket, so maybe they can find a way back into this game.
Down though, unfortunately, but he did pick up the couple of kills, as you said there, which is so important. It gives him a bit of momentum as well. If they can pick up a couple of kills, and as we've seen, if you can get a spawn cycle on this map, it's one of those maps where you can pick up 5-10 kills pretty quickly without reply.
Yeah, One True Flash has actually got a hold of the sniper rifle for OneGaming. Let's see what he can do with this. I mean, at this moment in time, they're not too far behind. He really needs to make those shots, though.
You don't want to be shooting those walls.
No,
they don't die.
Walls don't die. Walls don't take any pain or anything like that. They don't take bullets. I think I've expanded far too much on that. Anyway, continuing. DMR in hand. Let's see what he can do with it. He's being pressured. And what we've seen XL do fantastically well when they had to get a guy with the power weapons, they were protecting them hard. And it doesn't seem as if One True Flash has got too much protection. He needs to do that on himself. DMR in hand. And there comes his teammates.
Oh, he does hit the back of the headshot, though. Is he going to pick up the double kill? No, he isn't. Oh, That was so close, but a great shot there. And that's the kind of momentum play that they're going to need right now. They're going to need a few more of them. But you see the aggression, and even though he took out almost 2 of the players there, 3 players are now pushing him. And that sniper rifle is going to go back into the hands of Rift.
It seems as if his team left him for dead a little bit there. I mean, you know, he had a hold of that sniper. They were in a decent position. They made a couple of kills, but suddenly his teammates were nowhere near him. Absolutely in no man's land.
He's got to be screaming at his teammates at that point. Get back to me. Like, where are you going? I need help.
At the same time, can he rotate around with them? I suppose is it a double-edged sword in that way?
In that situation, it seemed like his teammates left him. They all pushed the snipe side, and no one was aware of where the Rift side were, where they were spawning and where they were pushing. It's just a lack of communication there, to be honest. I think OneShoeFlash was in a good position with the sniper rifle, but his teammates didn't really give him the support he needed because they weren't aware of where the Rift side were actually pushing across the map.
Let's see what he can do. He did lose that sniper, of course, but maybe he can impact this more. It is only an 8-point game in the favor of Rift, so this one is far from over. Let's see what he can do from this position, and these teammates are around him. Maybe they do have rockets as well, so they can potentially do something. They do seem to actually be picking up the power weapons a lot more now. Rift had them initially at the beginning of the game, but as OneGaming have went into the game, they have actually gotten a hold of it.
I was trying to find out who had the rockets there, but I can't find them on the stream. Maybe they've actually run out, but OneShoeFlash is going to be the man. It's actually Virus who has the rockets, and he's pushing on the base, but every time I've swapped to a rocket player so far, he has been extinguished.
It seems as if most of the rockets have actually been used up anyway, so at the same time, you know, he has getting a couple of kills, but it's not allowing the enemy team to get a hold of rockets, which is very, very beneficial, the fact that the other team doesn't have a rocket launcher. But on board with Virus, what can he do here? He's got 2 players in his sight. Is he going to be able to pick up one?
Nice
just
shots
about
from Virus.
Shots. As said by Virus, he's going to be able to pick up the second with the help of his teammate. Coming in there, good plays by 1G. They are really catching up. It's still an 8-point game, so actually it's working out in Rift's favor. They're getting closer towards that final scoreline, but they're keeping the deficit the same. They are leading currently by 9 now.
Yeah, all Rift have to do here is when you get to that sort of 30-kill mark in a game, all you have to do is just trade. If you have that lead, you don't have to establish too many pushes to try and not trade kills. All you have to do is trade. If you trade, you're going to win the game at this point. So it's all about staying together as a team, making sure that your team shot is on point, your communication's good, because you don't have to do too much at this point because you've done hard work already in the Slayer.
Well, let's see what Virus can do. And really actually saying that, you know, they have actually reduced their deficit a little bit. And this sniper rifle battle is going to be really important for OneGaming. They are going to need to win that. The hits are coming flying in from both sides. Virus does have support from one of these teammates as well. He's going to go for the sniper. He's going to get a lot of shots put into him. He does go down. Walrus should be able to pick that one up, and he has done. I can just have a glance over towards the screen. What can he do with that? A lot of shots being put into him as well. OneShoeFlash is going to take him down. There's actually Stanza coming in with a double kill with the rocket launcher. That's massive for OneGaming.
It's going to be a triple kill, I think. Oh, it's taken by his teammate.
Dark Messiah with the perfect with the battle rifle. Still got one of those rockets left. He should be able to make a good use of it. Not quite taking the player down. Is he going to be able to clean things up? Not quite. But OneGaming are well and truly back into this, and it's only a 5-point game in favor of Rift.
Yeah, Tan, I'm really impressed with their play here. Every time they seem to have got the rocket launcher in their possession, they have made plays with it. It seems like there's either been 2, 3, or 4 kills, and it's been a big swing. But going back to the power weapon control that we've talked about, Rift did a great job when that sniper came up because they actually baited the player in. That's the experience of the team. That's knowing how to play a situation. They waited for one of the players, the OneGaming players, to push in, and then they put the shots on as he tried to grab that power weapon. But just a 4-kill game now. And if OneGaming can take this one, it will be absolutely huge because we will actually see another map today, Tom, which I am excited about. And it's just a 4-kill game now as he finds Harper under the base, puts the shots on. Great shots from Stanza here. Stanza seems like the guy to watch here for OneGaming. He's jumping up now to the top of the snipe bridge now, and he's looking across at the red base. He seems to be aware of where the Rift side are spawning, but he just can't seem to locate any of these players. As he finds Ads, he's putting some shots on him there, and it's just great control all of a sudden. We're seeing out OneGaming, just 3 kills now.
They're really starting to show up with 20 seconds left to rocket launcher. They're going to be trying to push the control over that direction, and as you can see, Rift are actually making that movement. They are actually in no man's land though, not really much cover, and Harper's going to come around the back there and take down Stanza. It was actually Walrus in the end. Dark Messiah does get the kill onto Harper though, answering back, but Walrus once again coming in the kills with the DMR. OneShoeFlash does have the
OneShoeFlash!
Snapshot on the Walrus. That is an insane shot by him there. Rocket launcher is up, and can OneGaming get a hold of it? It's still a 3-point game. Rift, are they in any sort of position? Let's jump up over Rift. What they do to actually keep this lead, because at this moment in time, it is all OneGaming providing the players, and it is actually going to be Rift getting a hold of the rocket launcher. That's very important for them. It is only a 2-kill game.
I can't believe what I'm seeing at the moment. The shot that we just saw from OneShoeFlash, I mean, just living up to his name, he just absolutely annihilated the Rift player there with that no-scope. And it just seems like it's getting closer and closer, but that 3-kill gap is so important in this game. All Rift have to do, as we said previously, is just trade, but it seems like the power weapons have fallen into the hands of OneGaming. If they can put them to use now, they would be able to pull this lead back, but it seems like this aggressive push, once again, that we've seen ton and we've talked about 1,000 times in this series, they're doing a great job, and all of a sudden the sniper rifle, after this aggressive push, is in the hands of Rift Gaming, and just like that, it's a 5-kill lead, and they look like they're going to close this one out.
That was absolutely awesome by Rift there. They just pushed in there, they had the bodies, and they said, right, okay, we got the shots down. Let's see what we can do with that sniper rifle. That is going to be massive. Dark Messiah gets taken down. Good shots and a grenade by Walrus there to wipe him out, and he needs the rest of his team to come up clutch and get a hold of that sniper. He's going to be in a great position, and Walrus has been absolutely phenomenal here for Rift Gaming. They've got 5 kills away, and the game is a 6-point-1 in their favor. They should be able to close this one out. A big gunfight going to come down here. Harper does get the kill. The sniper rifle was available there, I do believe, for him as he... No, sorry, it might have just been the DMR. Sorry, I apologize, but on board with Harper. It's a 3-point game. OneGaming, they were coming back into this one. It hasn't quite happened for them here. DMR has been picked up by Harper, and surely Rift can watch this one out now.
And it's just 3 kills as he finds another Dark Messiah down, bottom of the grass area, cleans him up with some great shots there from Harper. And as we said, Harper is a great player and really impressive shot as he pushes in now and he claims the victory. That is 2-0 to Rift, and a really, really impressive performance there. But OneGaming really showed up in that last Slayer, and at any point there, they really could have taken that game.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen the start from Rift was so strong. They looked really good at the start. I mean, it was always a close game, but they always seemed in control. But then OneGaming just switched it on. For me, it boiled down to that double kill with the Rockets. I can't remember who quite got it. I think it might have been Virus, actually.
I think it was Virus who had the Rockets,
yeah.
But there was a couple of no-scopes from 1-2 Flash in that game and quick scopes. And
it just seemed to open up opportunities that they needed to get back into it. I mean, at one point it was a 2-kill game there. In the end, it was Rift's aggression that we seen in the first map that really paid dividends for them. They pushed in there strong, they got in the kills, they had the SMGs as well, which is a big thing for them. They got aggressive in their face, and suddenly OneGame just crumbled.
Yeah, if you've got those automatics, as we say, it's so important. But I think you made a great point there. When OneGaming had the power weapons and they picked up a kill, they needed the Rift aggression then to move from that. Once you get that 1 kill and you get the man advantage, you've got to push across the map. And it seemed like they got a little bit scared maybe. They were sitting back, and you cannot play like that because Rift will charge. As we saw at the end of that game, a massive push from them. It's so impressive, that push at the end.
Yeah,
I mean, we loved it. That was perfect.
That is literally what probably won them the game there. You know, it was backwards and forwards between the two teams. As I said, Rift were always pretty much in the lead. But up until that point, it was looking like OneGaming were cloning themselves back into it. Rift said, right, what worked for us game 1?
Exactly,
yeah. We had control, we were aggressive, we shut them down. We do that now. Why don't we do that now?
Why aren't we doing
that now? Oh, let's do it now. Okay. Oh, okay, we won the game.
And it worked.
It's as simple as that, if you like. But you know, the hats off to OneGaming. They really made it hard for them. All the way through that, they were punching back when they were trading between each other. They were getting a couple of the power weapons available to themselves to try and use 1-shoot Flash. I mean, that was ridiculous.
That no-scope. I think that's the shot. So far, that's the shot of the tournament, I think. I think between him and Genius, that was they're the two, but that was an incredible shot from him. And one quick thing, that was a great comeback from them, especially after getting crushed in the game 1.
Yeah, but a very, very good series, as we did see there between the two teams. Guys, what do you think of that game? It was really good, yeah?
Yeah, I think it was fairly impressive there from Rift. Thank you for that, Ton. Okay, guys, let's find out your first impressions on that match.
We both called it.
Yeah, we called it 2-0 2-0 Rift.
So far, the analyst panel almost
Spot on, I'd
perfect
say,
in their predictions, apart from I think Strong Side got a scoreline wrong earlier.
Strong Side, he's just letting everyone down, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Okay.
What else can you say? I mean, just classic Strong Side, just always letting the team
fair
down.
enough.
Am I right, Walsh?
Absolutely.
Okay.
100% spot on. But yeah,
right,
that last
let's
match,
move on to first impressions then. What you guys picked out of that one?
I
Yeah,
think
so
we keep seeing closer and closer matches.
Yeah.
As these days go on, that's good and bad. Like from Rift standpoint, yes, it's great that they won this match, but we did see quite a few mistakes across the board. Now the great plays they have, in my opinion, they don't fully overshadow mistakes. The top teams and top players that you see out there, especially like in the North American scene, they are the teams that make the least amount of mistakes. Sure, they're hitting some sweet no-scopes from time to time or hitting perfect shots, but the most important part is they aren't giving up unnecessary deaths, giving up strongholds when they shouldn't be, and giving up control of a map like on Coliseum Slayer. Yeah,
I think you pretty much summed it up perfectly. We saw it from the OneGaming side, just pushing one by one, like you said, unnecessary deaths, just feeding kills essentially to the Rift side. And then game 2, I mean, it was a valiant comeback at one point from OneGaming, but unfortunately just couldn't close it out at the end, which was a shame. We did see some great snipes though from 1-2 Flash.
Okay, well, thanks for that. Let's quickly jump into the interview with the player then. It should be Josh with Sneaky Walrus.
Thanks, Pricey. Sneaky Walrus, one-sided on the stronghold, 115, but obviously on the Slayer, it got a little bit nervy around the 40-point mark.
Slayer Coliseum's not exactly our best game type. We ken that. There's nothing much to be said about that.
Well, how did you do it on the original map? Obviously, 115, you know, it's one-sided completely.
Rig is one of our better game types. We've taken some games of quite top teams as well off that map, so we're pretty confident in playing Rig.
So I was speaking to Hollers of the previous team, and it's always worth asking you guys as the lower seeds, how are you going to compete against the higher ranks once you finally get to that stage?
I didn't necessarily think it's one-on-one that's the problem. It's just we've got to get the teamwork right. I think that's the crux of it.
And how often do you get to practice against the best teams online?
When we're online, which isn't very often.
So the pressure of LAN and playing in the G-Finity Arena, obviously it's quite some place to play. Is this inspiring you, aspiring you to perform a lot, better?
The G-Fin Arena is an amazing place. Certainly it does inspire us.
Cool. Right, thank you for that. Brycey, back to you.
All right, thank you for that, guys. He thinks they can pretty much go one-on-one with the top teams. It's just their chemistry and teamwork that let them down. What do you guys make of that?
I don't think I saw enough out of Rift to see them go toe-to-toe with a team like Infuse or Epsilon, I'm afraid. I just think the aim disparity between the top 3 downwards, or maybe even the top 4 downwards, is just insurmountable, I think. I think we didn't see enough out of Rift. It was, like I said, it was a close game number 2, but game 1 was great from Rift, but I don't think I saw enough out of them.
I semi-agree. I don't look at the top few teams, someone like Epsilon, as being like that much better just pure shot-wise, like that they are just out, winning every single one of their 1v1s.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I would argue skill, individually-wise, they probably are better individually, but it's not by that large amount that gives them these 3 online cup wins and giving them the.
I'd like to amend my statement. now that Big Daddy Walsh has just completely corrected me and made me look a fool.
I was about to say, I semi-agree.
I disagree.
No, we both agree in a way because, like you said, they probably don't have as good of individual skill.
Yeah,
as
that's
Epsilon,
the thing. A team like Epsilon or Infused will capitalize on those mistakes, say in like a missed 1v1 battle that maybe should have won by Rift.
Yep, and that's the whole thing is, and even Sneaky Walrus was acknowledging that, just saying, I think, one-on-one, going toe-to-toe with them, we're fine, but when it comes down to their organization, their teamwork, their overall strategies when it comes to a lot of these objective games, we aren't there yet.
Well, fair enough. All right, let's jump into this map by map there. Map 1, what did you guys notice and how do you think it went?
Well, it was very one-sided. Rift pretty much took it 100 to 15. The main thing that we saw from OneGaming was just pushing 1x1 out of that BR base, and that's something you absolutely cannot do. You can't try and take back the nest and the basement by just going 1x1. It just didn't work out for them. Rift were able to capitalize and get easy kills, but on the OneGaming players who were just pushing out 1x1. And it contributed towards that scoreline. 100 to 15 is pretty dominating in game 1.
Yeah, it was a slaughter in a lot of ways. It just felt like you said, OneGaming was pushing out individually, and when they were getting ASR kills, they weren't able to capitalize it because they weren't all together at certain points. So even if they were able to get a kill or 2 over at Elbow or at Nest, it doesn't matter because the members of Rift, they have the better spawn, they have the better setup. They're going to spawn outside on Carbine, closer where they can shoot Nest or they can shoot Basement, whereas the members of OneGaming, guess what? They're going to spawn the inside corner over and over again until they actually get control of another quadrant of the map. If they all pushed out, even if they all 4 did a strategy that you would argue is not as good, like let's say all 4 members waited for a bit, pushed together and took over Nest, they could at least have a chance of getting Nest spawns in that situation and not spawn the inside corner. But that inside corner, you don't get to reinforce your team as fast as those outside spawns, and you aren't in as safe of a position. So it was just that the whole game thematically, inside spawn versus outside spawn.
Yeah.
Inside spawn versus outside spawn.
And that's the thing. We saw such great focus fire from the Rift side because of OneGaming just pushing 1x1. I mean, it was great teamwork from them. We just saw multiple Rift players just drilling one gaming player while they were pushing out 1x1.
And a lot of that team shot sometimes even just comes naturally just based on your team's positioning.
Yeah.
Because, for example, you can't really coordinate very good shots from pushing from inside. You can force some close range battles if a couple of you push elbow together, but even pushing out towards nest, like it's really hard to coordinate pushing across both bridges. Or when you are fighting somebody, they can actually back down your carbine or back down your snipe haul. And it's just really tough to get out of that situation once you've already dug yourself in a hole.
One thing I will say, though, there was a point in the game where OneGaming were able to get the nest and the basement, and that's how they got their 15 points on the board. But a complete contrast from the OneGaming side. I mean, we saw Harper, I think it was, during the broadcast. We were on his point of view. He completely ignored the BR base, despite, I think it was OneGaming who actually had the BR base. He decided to completely leave it, realize, hey, we want the basement and the nest. So he decided to run around the railgun side, completely ignore the BR base, and just get behind the basement, and actually was able to capture the basement back for his team as well. So it was a great play there from Harper.
Yeah, I agree. That's something that is one of those tough split-second decisions to make, where you'll see most amateurs and players, they'll say instantly, oh, I'm just going to go straight for the base that's closest to me. That's the safe, that feels like the safe play to make. However, in a lot of cases, ends up backfiring because you have an opportunity to get full control of the map by pushing over towards basement and helping where the main fight goes on. I would say the only play where it's best to grab BR base immediately is once your team's already dead and the other team is like a total control. It's like, all right, guess what? I can just capture this basement while I'm waiting for my teammates to spawn, and then maybe we can take over railgun or start to push out towards
the nest.
Yeah, towards nest. Yeah. So it's just it's more so to like kind of slow down, organize, and like kind of like stop the bleed. And I always think of when a team has total control, that's where it's like, all right, you need to slow it down, just at least get one stronghold so they aren't getting total domination and getting so many more points.
Yeah, and I think we touched on Harper there, who was the man who actually ran around to the basement, actually led the game in kills, 18 kills in that one. So Harper definitely the standout performer from Rift.
And on the opposite side of that too, we saw a not so stellar performance. I believe it was One True Flash. Yes, yeah. One True Flash.
Don't worry, Walsh, I got you. It's all good.
I hear the word true, and I think of truth, and I get all excited. But had not so great of a game. I mean, we're talking a long stronghold game and only being able to acquire 1 kill.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a testament to having a bad game. But on top of that, how well Rift was holding their full setup when they had that advantage. So it just goes to show how tough it is to individually get a kill on that game type when the other team's organized and you're pushing out solo.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think we've gone quite into depth into that match. Let's move on to the next one. Coliseum, a little bit of a closer game with this one.
Much closer.
How did, first of all, why were they able to get a lot closer in this one, and where did they still go wrong to still lose?
Well, I think the whole lead from the Rift side was from Vex just going off with the sniper. I mean, he was hitting some shots with that thing, man, and OneGaming just weren't able to shut him down. They couldn't put any pressure on him whatsoever. But then the tide kind of changed. OneGaming were able to get a sniper kind of around the 20 to 15 mark, I think it was. But a complete contrast. Rift were able to keep Vex alive, but I think it was One True Flash who actually had the sniper on the OneGaming side. His team just could not keep him alive. It was just great pressure already from the Rift side. As soon as he picked up that sniper, it was just curtains for him. He just went down straight away.
Yeah, and One True Flash was actually doing a really good job of his positioning when he had sniper over at red base, like you said before. But like you said, there was just so much pressure. He was collapsed in by elbow where he was able to get one of the headshots and at least back the other player down. And then someone charged him across from bridge and, like you said, was not able to get comfortable. The whole point is when you have a teammate that has a sniper, you don't need to be right next to him. You need to push out, create some space, create some room for your sniper. Let him get a little comfortable so he can shoot. Let the man do his job. Yeah.
Bit,
But yeah, the whole point is, a lot of players, I think, when they try to back up the sniper, it's like, oh, I'll go watch his back or I'll watch his flank. And it's, these players can watch the radar a bit. Yep. It's almost best if you go out and just find an opponent because as long as you don't let your
call him out then, right?
Yep.
Got to bait him into your teammate.
Exactly. I would gladly go 1 for 1 if I'm catching some sort of flanker and not letting them get my sniper because the more I push out, I have to have faith in my sniper that I'm going to do some damage, and those kills are going to get picked off, and eventually we're going to create such a buffer between my sniper and the opponents that we're going to be able to take advantage of that. We're going to slow it down. Top teams and players, what they're going to do is they're not going to let that sniper slow the game down. They realize that in a slow-paced game, in a standoff, the team that has sniper is going to come ahead.
Yep. It's pretty much
wow, there we go. You kind of broke that down quite succinctly there. So, key player for kind of Rift in this entire series, who would you say?
I think it was kind of a series of two halves. Obviously, you had game one, which was a complete washout.
Yeah.
Rift, Harper, like we said, with that rotation to get the basement back. I think Harper in game one really stood out. But then in game number two, which was a little bit closer, it was actually Walrus, a sneaky Walrus, the man who was on the stage with 18 kills. A really great performance from him. And there was actually a point in that game where OneGaming actually staged a little bit of a resurgence. They actually came within 3. But in the end, it just wasn't enough, and they lost it 50-40. So I think game one, Harper did great, but then game two, I think Walrus really stepped up when he needed to.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for kind of breaking that down for us and all the wonderful people at home. Coming up next, though, Viperio versus Garda just after the break. See you then.